another episode of Mom, Multidimensional Art, Medicine, Women, and the Talking Stick. And today we have a different episode, which is in person. And I love that so much better. And I have here my dear sister, friend, high priestess, trailblazer, way shower, Claudia Spahr. She's a fellow multilinguist as well. And in my eyes, these kind of superwomen who have done so many things in their lives and who do so many different things that it is really, really hard to narrow her down and to put her in a box. She has been a doula. She's a doula. Basically, for me, she is a doula because a doula and a doer. She brings through books for other people. She helps other women birth their soul-led businesses. She brings through ideas and energies, being an MC in events. She brings through new ideas of retreats. And how I first met her was when I was researching for information on how to host a retreat. And I was completely blown away by somebody giving retreats for mothers with children. So this was for me like a whole new thing that I have never seen before. And this is what I mean by trailblazer, way shower, is those kinds of people who dare to do things different. And that's you, Claudia, in my eyes. So maybe you want to just present yourself and explain to the listeners, to the viewers, who you are and what you do.
Thank you. We even look like sisters. And as you were talking, I thought, oh, I love your feather earrings. I think I want to find my ring earrings.
Nice.
Having a fidget. They say, actually, when you're doing camera, just a little tip here, that it's actually really good. You know, when you see people doing makeup and putting on earrings, it attracts attention because it I don't know, it's like movement in it.
Oh.
So I'll just start this off doing that. Voila. Okay, now we're ready.
Voila.
So yeah, we even kind of look like sisters. I'm obviously the older one. So shall I look there?
Whatever you feel like.
So I'll look back and forth. Wow. So first of all, thank you for inviting me to this beautiful spot here. We're under trees by the ocean. And what a great introduction, because I mean, literally just before we started recording, I said, I'm currently doing this, and this, because 5 days from now, it may have changed again, right? This is when we are totally led by art, when we're totally open to respond to life, we're led by Eros. We are literally submissive to the muse. Now, obviously, this can feel for anybody who's like, oh, I'm a super creative, I'm highly creative. 1 minute I do this and the next I do that. And then it can feel really inconsistent. Right. So often people say, oh, you're a manifesting generator, or you've got ADHD. These are kind of just labels that current society is trying to find to describe and sometimes even limit our natural essence, which is to be multi-passionate, which is to be highly creative, which is to be literally living from moment to moment and creating reality from moment to moment and opening portals, like which you do very well.
And you.
So okay, so we can go totally non-linear, which is important, but at the same time, what is also important, and this is how we actually get to create this reality, is having very clear intention. Because what clear intention does, not the same as desire, because desire, as Buddhists say, it's gets in the way. It can actually be too much focus and energy on one particular outcome. It's like the head then gets, I mean, yes, desire comes from usually the body and the heart, but then the head can go, oh, I have to do it this way, and that didn't work, so now I have to do it this way, and we can get very stuck. Whereas when we have intention, we have like a focus. So this goes for business, right? Maybe I'll give an example so when you introduced me, you didn't mention the word holy mama. But obviously, this is something that people have known me for, these retreats with mums and kids. And the name Holy Mama just literally came like a download. Well, that's a fun name because it's actually, I was studying at the time integrative nutrition. So it was like holistic. I was really into holistic anything, how to use food to heal, how to, mindset, anything to do with holistic health. So I thought, I'm a holistic mama, but I'm also holy. And it was a kind of tongue in cheek because I was at the time married to a Roman Catholic who took it very seriously. So I was like, well, this is kind of a bit like, where everyone's worshiping the Madonna and the Holy Virgin, but what about how does it look as a real mother? And at the time I was pregnant with my third child, a daughter after two sons, did not know what an incredible being she would be when she came earthside. And I just had this download in the forest, also in the moment when, again, it's like if you follow the breadcrumbs, right, you have an intention. And there was a house in Ibiza that friends owned that they offered to me in the off season at a very good price, the kind of thing you can't get these days, to host retreats because they knew that I had been doing 3 years of retreats in India. That's how I started even. And even that story is kind of crazy. And it's always like responding in the moment to opportunities, but they're not going. So let's give you another example. If we look at, I'll use human design here, right? The generator, which is manifesting generators and generators in the majority of people on the planet, is like nature itself, especially if you're sacral. And it's a bit like, we're sitting here under the tree and it's like hyper ADHD. Oh, there's a leaf. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that. It's like nature is responding to everything all the time. And a leaf will actually create, if it has a bug on it, it will instantly give off a chemical to tell the other leaves, this is what you need to do to protect from the bug. So it's constantly responding. Right. So this is our essence. This is who we are because we are nature. But then when it comes to actually real life, we have cars to drive, rent to pay, food to put on the table, and all of those things, businesses to build. We need to kind of find a strategy. And that's why I love strategy. Strategy is brilliant because it is actually very laser focused, giving all of the alive energy a sense of direction. And this is where entrepreneurship is so creative because you can, and a real good entrepreneur will go, okay, we'll try this. Oh, that's not working the way. Okay, so now we tried this, right? And you're constantly adapting, but you've always kind of got your bigger vision. And that's really important, I think, for anyone who is considering either starting a business or is having a wobble in their business. Everybody has wobbles in their business as part of running a business. Is that you need to tap into the bigger vision. Why are you doing this? And for some, especially spiritual entrepreneurs, it's like, I'm just here to save the planet. Great. Let's all save the planet together. But actually, it's more of this, you are just consciousness awakening to your essence. And if you can, it kind of takes the ego out of it too, because we can all kind of get like, oh, I'm just here to heal everybody, include in yourself first, right? We're always our own best test dummy, and we've got to test it on ourselves. So anyway, that's kind of overarching. And also, I'm a mum, mum of three. I am, if we're going to use archetypes, a lover. I'm continuously changing, playing with archetypes in relation to different archetypes, because that's what we do. We don't become them. We have a relationship to them. So right now I'm very much in this Hetira geisha, like really feeling into this because I was very much in the nun and the hermit the last 4 years. I was very pulled back into my heart because after I went to Peru and I went through a deep shamanic initiation of reconnecting with, I guess you could say, rainbow universal love energy. And for that, I needed to be very alone. I couldn't have any like distractions. I was just like with my kids, with my clients, with my family, and that was it. Like no lover. And now I'm like, I'm still young enough to, but it has to be very, very, again, intentional. Like my standards are way up there now.
And they
Okay.
should be, my
Yeah,
love.
they need to be. Everybody needs to have their standards. I think people, just to add on, yeah, we're too much in this supermarket consumer culture, and especially if you look at online dating, right? And for whether it's men or women, but I think especially for men, there is this men have a different biology to us, so their form of their hormones aren't necessarily procreation with one partner isn't necessarily the way they're wired, whereas for women we quickly have emotional bonding. So just from that point of view, when we're dating, very quickly we have that emotional connection. And if you're still hormonally lunar, like I'm now lunar, connected to the moon more. I'm not gonna have any more babies. So my hormonal need for the other, for relational physical contact, is all about pleasure. I don't need to procreate anymore, and that really shifts something. But just to just finish that thought off, for a lot of men it can feel overwhelming. So many women are available, and then very quickly it turns out, oh no, now she wants to commit too fast, and it's just complicated, right? So I feel everyone should be very discerning. Not should, but it's an invitation for you, for listening to this, watching this, whether you're a man or woman or anything in between, to just go, I am valuable, and I'm gonna discern who I spend my time with, whether it's a 5-minute coffee or a full-on night of passion. Okay.
It's so interesting that the talking stick is bringing this into the picture, because I feel that in the last 2 to 3 months, the energy of pleasure and it has been coming in very strongly, not only into those who have been in hermit mode for many years, like working through this shadow work, integrating, bridging worlds, and doing like all of this multidimensional work, which is all the multidimensional art medicine women who have been bringing in the new and birthing the ideas and birthing this new energy. That now kind of a portal has opened to find again this Eros, you call it. So maybe for those who don't know what Eros is like this. I like to compare it with the unconditional love energy, which is for me also the creative force, creative life force combined with pleasure. So when you combine your creativity with pleasure, and you do it from a space of non-expectation simply for the sake of doing it, this is when truly magic can manifest. And this is what I feel that many, many, many of the women who are probably going to watch this are being called to do. Because when you allow yourself to do things just for the sake of doing that, because you enjoy doing that, and you combine it with a clear intention on why you're doing that, not with an expectation of an outcome, but with an intention, with a pure intention on why, that is when the new ideas that are available in the quantum field now can come through you. And this is what is going to bring you to your maximum expression of success and satisfaction. And satisfaction is such an important word, I feel, now for these days, because we have been living in a world where we have been doing so many things without really feeling satisfied doing them, and maybe for the money, maybe for the for having like a kind of a name, or for others to see us in a certain way. And I feel that the energy right now, and where we're moving into this original earth paradigm, doesn't allow anymore to us to put up a mask that is not showing our true self and our true identity. And everyone here that is watching this, you're resonating with this frequency because you are as well a multidimensional art medicine woman. What does that mean? It means that you are becoming aware that your life is a canvas, is that you are the artist and that you are here to create something new that will, in one way or the other, change the perception or open up a door for others. So you are the portal, and you are the one that is in constant listening to what is being asked of you from Eros, which is this pure love consciousness that is everything. So when you allow yourself to dance with it, and like you, this is why I admired you so much when I came across you, is to see your multifaceted self, how you're constantly able to change, and like this fluidity, this fluid being that you represent is like a woman changing archetypes without holding on to the last one, and how you can just simply flow in what is being asked of you. Like now, for example, you're going to be hosting a huge event, and you're just so confident in doing that as if it would be nothing. And I feel that it is because you're used to reinvent yourself without holding back to the old version, and that is key for being successful, I feel. And so what made me just admire you and be inspired by you was this doing things without having necessarily without knowing if it's going to work, taking a risk. And then as well, what you mentioned before is this strategy. And strategy for me is like when Eros is this feminine force that dances around the pole. We just had Beltane, and Beltane in Germany or in Switzerland is like, there's a ritual that they do where you have like this stick, this wooden stick, and then women with colorful bands dancing around it and weaving around the stick. So in business, I feel it's like the stick is the masculine strategy that gives you the safety and the security to be able to dance around with colors and create like new patterns and be flowing. But without the stick, there's everything is wobbly. And this is what you helped me with, for example. And it doesn't have to be necessarily only this strategy in business, but also to find in yourself the stability and the knowing and the kind of like a center to say I am worthy, I am enough, just the way I am now. I am worthy to receive as well these beautiful, amazing new ideas that are available, that come through me. So this stability, not only in strategic ways, but also in energetic ways, is when you are with somebody like Claudia that has done this 3 zillion times. It's just kind of like flows onto you automatically, and it's like a tuning fork. We're tuning into the same frequency, and it's a mirror. Like I'm looking into my mirror that you are, and it's and this is what makes me see myself in you. And this is, I feel, the new way of doing business and doing collaborations, is to choose the people who you see yourself in, and who you from your heart, with your heart and soul, can say, wow, I admire this person. This person has done with a specific emphasis on the word done, the work. They have proof, and this is somebody that I want to follow, because nowadays there are so many coaches out there, so many business coaches that have said that they have built, that they can teach you how to do things when they haven't even themselves done 90% of what they preach. So I always like to be led by elders since forever. Every tradition, the ones that were leading the tribe, the ones that were role models were the elders. And I feel that you are, when now you said you're going into this geisha mode or opening yourself up again for pleasure, you are a new archetype, I feel, that you are bringing in, which is this wise woman. The wise woman, the elder, that also has integrated all of the other archetypes and can play with every archetype whenever she needs it.
That sounds
This is how I feel you now. So when you see the circle of the wheel, of the year, where every part represents a different archetype, and Beltane is the maiden, right? It's like the flourishing again of the passion. So you are entering into this archetype now, into the maiden, but with all of the wisdom of a freaking wise old woman who knows she cannot be played and fucked with anymore. So that's the vibe that I'm getting here. And I know that you are right now also birthing or offering a completely new concept as well, which completely blew me away because I have been receiving the same messages, which is the hive mind. Maybe you want to speak a little bit about that and what your vision is, maybe your next vision, because you're having visions all of the time. So I cannot keep up with you. So
thank you. Okay, wow, so many. Thank you for that psychic reading. Yeah, definitely. I love that. I love that dancing with the archetypes. Yeah, I definitely feel that. And I wanted to pick up on a few things you said. I do feel new paradigm is like we're going from gray to multicolored, like multifaceted. And this is why it's so important to connect with innocence. Right. So innocence is such a beautiful archetype. And you mentioned the maiden. So coming to innocence from a place of maturity, and also as a mother, right, of when you have children, you rebirth that innocence within you too, right? So this mirroring is constantly happening. I feel this is a very important part of Eros, because Eros, which is a Latin word, and it does mean love, but there's a part of it which is arousal, but it doesn't necessarily always mean sexual arousal. It's like when a child sees a beetle and is so turned on. Yes, it's like total fascination. And it's also devotion, which is kind of the more spiritual path and the intention, which is like stay on the path. And the other thing you mentioned is the Shiva Shakti strategy, right? We're constantly dancing between masculine and feminine. We have inner masculine and feminine, of course. And if it's too much of one, it's too like structured, or if it's too much of the wild, it's too chaotic. So we need the balance. And what is this beautiful thing about using the medicine wheel, because I love you brought that up, is that the wheel as a system is totally in balance. So you can actually go around the wheel. It's not, because masculine and feminine is very much about duality, and we have that too. This is the multidimensional, right? So we've got duality, we've got polarity, we've got the wheel, we've got the cosmos. I mean, the whole universe is so expansive. It's like there's not one way to see it. But if we are here to express consciousness or super consciousness, then this is where we get to open up these portals, right? To be, because like you were saying about mirroring or being, I want to pick up on ritual elder, right? So as I hold space for others, and like in the hive mind, a lot of the space holding, what is actually needed is really being like the doula who does not interfere, but who observes and gives the right feedback, because you can't really follow a recipe that somebody else has created. The best way is always that you get the downloads, and that can only really happen when you are held in a space by someone who is really, it has been initiated, so
And
that
makes you
they
feel
could.
safe.
And safety is very important, of course, yes. So, like for your retreats, for example, you are the initiator because you've been initiated, and we're constantly being initiated. And as you are initiating others, you're going to have a new initiation too, because every retreat you do is a new initiation.
Oh, yes.
Right. And after doing I did try and count once, it's definitely 88 with Holy Mama. And before that, you could say, if I counted by week, it's probably about 150 retreats.
Wow.
Every single week was different because it's different people, different weather, different wind, different everything, even in the same house. So what I think is very, very important for us to now, I guess it really is a understanding that as we are exploring this new amazing quantum age, that we are incredible co-creators and creators, and this God spark is within us, and it's more than a spark, it's literally like birthing constantly new realities. And this is why art is so important. And I art, theater, dance, music, painting, poetry, any form of human expression. I think we discussed this at some point. This is what is going to save the planet, right?
This is why you're doing the book thing now as well.
Writing, yeah, exactly. This is why I've always known since I was like 10 years old that writing is a thing that I'm here to do. And if we look at, past lives, and I definitely feel like I was some kind of monk translating very dry scriptures for, maybe more than one lifetime. So I've got a few brownie points. But it's also, this is a medium that for me has always felt like this is the one I play with, and it's a skill set. So like, let's talk about marketing for a moment. Marketing is basically learning how to write conversion copy, and it's changing constantly as the online space changes. So that's a good example of how we're opening up portals. The internet is a portal. Like, we're constantly opening up new worlds, and then there's a new trend, there's a new hot thing, and that opens up, music's like that, music trends, fashion trends, and then there's a variation on it. And then, I mean, look at the kids today, what they're inventing how to get plastic out of the ocean, how to, so many people are limited on the problems, when actually, yes, we need to be aware of the problems, but we also need to be open to the solutions. And you get the solutions not necessarily by feeling, because it can feel very constrictive when we're just in that dark space of stuckness, I guess it is. And sometimes we have to go there. Everybody's different, right? Sometimes, like you were saying, I've reinvented myself so many times, and now I embrace it because I always see, because I know the process, I know the birthing process. And if I have a day where I'm like, oh no, things are a little today, I know that the next day it's going to be a great day the next day, because I know I can trust myself. I know how these things work. But definitely in my late 20s, early 30s, like when I left TV, well, when I was booted out, it was like, what next? It was a total door closing in my face. So when that happens to you, it's a bit like there are 5 stages of grief. We also have to honor our internal process, where we go into the sadness and the anger and the disappointment. But like you said, we are definitely in a time now, because we've got access to so many tools and so much, from psychology to physics, and so much history, recorded history now, and even before that, and so many people downloading things, that we actually don't need to can't remember my train of thought now, but it's something about that we can get sort of in this loop of not
The
seeing
writing, we were talking about the writing.
the writing. Yeah, I
The
mean,
marketing.
marketing and writing. Yeah. I mean, I was wanting to say something about how everything now, it's like we are in a new time where we need to be very focused on creating and being open to creation. And being open to creation is not a controlled. This is nothing to do with control. So yeah, maybe that's, I can wrap it up like that. If we look at the last 2 to 5,000 years, and some people say, well, that was patriarchy. Yes, it was. That's a way to describe the systems of domination and control. But it was mainly about controlling big numbers of human beings.
Yeah.
And now that's all disintegrating, and there are many predictions about it, from the shamans of South America to the Tibetans to human design astrology, that. And sometimes I say it's not even as radical as it's all going to collapse and planes are going to fall out of the sky, and it's more of a dissolving of that which isn't working anymore, because people are just turning away from it, and they're just going, well, because, and this is where young, and this is why I've worked with mothers and children, because the innocence, right, the return to innocence. Innocence is nature, but innocence is also young children, anyone who is able to decondition, right? So I think this is the point I wanted to make about, we've all been so conditioned. And when we can go on that experiment to decondition and just see what's available and be totally open, no matter what your design is or your astrology, everybody really is invited to be open, to be able to. It is, I think the word here is submissive is correct, because it is like you are not in charge.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Yeah.
And it's so much more fun not to be in charge, right? And it's what you said, like, without you just, let's see where this goes. You're just creating in the moment.
Yeah.
And then miracles occur, and you can then be satisfied that you were actually able to trust in the process. And because the outcome is so much greater than if you're like trying to force something to happen that was actually meant to be so much better than what you thought it would be. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you for this, bringing it so beautifully into closure, because this innocence is, I feel, what is the key right now. As the Bible also says, only with the eyes of a child will you be able to allowed access to the kingdom of heaven. And I feel that what is happening is now that we are all discovering this kingdom of heaven within us, and that business and society and everything is changing into this, with this Eros energy, with this innocent being in the moment, doing what you feel like when this impulse comes naturally. So, for example, instead of sitting in front of the computer thinking about what to post, or about the strategy for your next launch, maybe just starting to do things at home, cleaning the dishes, and then suddenly a download comes an idea, and then you can like write the post, or while you are in the shower, or while you're sitting on the toilet, or while you're painting. But instead of forcing yourself to do things specifically as well, like how others tell you to do, if you follow your own intuition and your own eros, your own pleasure, without expecting any specific outcome, and with the knowing that there is the third force, like the masculine and the feminine, but then the third force, which is spirit, the unknown, then the Trinity is formed. And then instead of being in duality, the pyramid is formed, where infinite creation, infinite possibilities, and infinite energy can stream into you. And this is where the rebirth that we're experiencing right now is going to become more visible, is when we function as Trinity. And that is, as for example, in The Matrix, the movie, Trinity is the exit point of the system, no, of the illusion. So it is very important to bring in this third energy of unconditional love and doing things not because you want money or you need clients or you need this to work, but changing the focus from you need to achieve something to you are the center, you are the 0 point, you are the channel through which the divine can work through you, and everything that is aligned with that frequency of purity, of innocence, of joy, of pleasure automatically is calibrated to you. You know, the spiral, and this is the inversion of the Fibonacci spiral, which we have been living in up until now, which was the inverted spiral of duality, to going back into the crystal organic flow that is the spiral through your heart, where we are all connected and you are aware that everything is in constant change, and where we can really start to collaborate on a higher level, and form those hive minds which you are a pioneer of, where it's not in a hierarchy anymore, but more so in a circle where everyone who is in the space is co-creating the space and is seen as a part of the divine. And when we start to change our perception in this way, we can be so powerful together. This is when real massive change can happen. And this is what I felt when I came into your space, and the power that is behind that idea. And I think that they're going to be developing more and more and more. So, by the way, we have here M13 and a crown underneath the...
Funny,
yeah. And the 13 is the representation of, or the M is the representation of the mother, not the cosmic mother, the principle of creation, this queen energy, this royalty, that is that which is leading us right now into this change. So just to wrap it up, and for anyone who maybe is interested in working with you, what are the two next, or the one or two next projects that you are about to birth or birthing already, and how, or for whom, who are you inviting in?
Okay, thank you. And there's also a 13 here. It's actually really funny because we sat here exactly, and I was watching it, but I wasn't actually because when we arranged to meet, on my app it said 1333, and I'm seeing a lot of. I mean, those of you who look at these signs, the signs are everywhere. I'm very much on 555 because it's a kind of shamanic yes and number. 5555, and there's a little crown that's funny little, you can't see it, but it's on the table. Maybe we need to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
So, and I loved what you just said about this Trinity. I mean, it's exactly that. It's this is what I feel true artists throughout time have always understood. This really is that you kind of get yourself out of the way and you let the muse come through, or the spirit, or
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But it is definitely, it's not you controlling the process. So, well, right. I mean, the way I built my business is that it is not dependent on my energy at one particular point in the year and I have one launch, but that it's a constant flowing ecosystem where you can enter at any point, and you can, I have the hive minds that run 5 a year. This first year I'm testing that, and my idea is to build it and create hive mind offshoots, and everybody kind of does their own version of it if that's what they feel. And then I have a few signature offers that I run. What at the moment, that's how my business looks. And I'm also starting up a year-long book writing mastermind where it's going to be a group that is, everyone, of course, has their own process, but it's something that book writing, and I've written a few, and I'm definitely been I know that this is the next thing coming for me, that I'm just going to be writing at a much faster speed than I have been doing, because it's become easier to dictate books, and just the process has become easier. But it still takes a lot of discipline and accountability. So that's why I'm giving this opportunity to work in a group in a very focused way, and not just writing the book, but actually getting it published. And I realize I have so many really good contacts in the publishing industry, so who knows, maybe we'll open a little publishing platform. I don't know. I don't know what's next.
Interesting.
But that's definitely that. And so I work mainly with, if you had to find a common denominator, I've been working predominantly with women, spiritual women, if that's a description, but any woman who is, there's like, she has depths, and she knows that she, a lot of the spaces on the internet don't they're not, she's very sensitive, she's gonna just see through the bullshit, right? And there is bullshit out there, like you said. A lot of people are selling stuff, and people have been duped, so there's more discernment now, which is, it's a good thing. What it does mean, though, for a lot of people who are at the beginning of or at a part of their journey where it's not consistent income yet, there's like, we're testing stuff out, experimenting. So it's important that you are, find the spaces that you feel are supporting you. And sometimes it is a bit of like, I'll take a little bit from this person, and I've been in 3 different groups at the same time, and I've gotten something from each person, because they're different. One is more strategy focused, the other is very mystic. And I love mystics. I love being in spaces with mystics, because mystics attract mystics. But just mysticism alone, without the strategy behind it, or without knowing, how, when you bring people in, how are you going to then create value for them? How, a lot of the time is we need to be nurturing, as in, it's all about relationship. Good business is about relationship. So having really, and this is where sometimes online it gets very superficial, but actually relationship is where it's at. And if you don't actually care about the people that are in your spaces, like, what's the point? It's like, and you can feel that now, which is also a good thing. So you could say, who am I for? I'm for the kind of woman who notices that I actually care about her and her success. And what does this do? Because I'm so relational, I have a lot of 7th house in my, Western astrology. So I'm using that as a lens and a map. It's my South Node, so I can default into overgiving, people pleasing, and I know that. But now I'm definitely at a point where I'm like, because I've started working with men, and men are actually, for me, giving me that mirror differently, because I can see my relationship patterns in the past, how I default to being then just people, not just people pleasing, but always trying to make it work. Whereas actually the kind of man who is meant to be at my side respects me for my Aries, and for my going first, and for my being the, like, not taking the bullshit, and just being very clear, and just moving. Like, if you want to come with me, rise to meet me. I'm not gonna make any compromises. So why I'm saying this is because we are also constantly learning and growing. And this is this innocence as well. And maybe to bring it back to the archetypes, if I'm like, I am the queen now, and my whole marketing is like, I'm wearing a crown, and you see this sometimes on Instagram, but it's kind of like, okay, you're going through that phase, okay,
billionaire queens.
Billionaire queens. Yeah, it's it's fun, but then it starts to tip when you become it, because you can't become an archetype. You just you just play with it. And I know some get this and they play with it, but I definitely feel that just being in one is also boring. And yeah, so I feel, if we're gonna wrap this up, I would say playfulness is so important.
Yeah.
Playfulness, right? And in the Chinese, I'm a monkey. So, it's like, it's having fun, and it's also I'm very Venusian that way as well. Very like, let's play and have fun and enjoy, and back to pleasure. right? And yes, sometimes the life sends us curveballs, and the best thing you can do also then is just like, what's the funny situation here that my car has just rolled backwards into a ditch, and it cost about 5,000 euros to get the fuck around.
That's what happened to me.
I know. Sometimes it just sucks.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really hard to see the gift in the bullshit. But this is, when you're here for a life like this, you're not given normal, right? You're not handed. So this is another way. Sometimes when I'm like, look back and I go, how on earth did I manage to do that? And I sometimes with my children, I go like, wow, we really went through a really hard time. And then I say, well, because I'm not here for normal. Not in a sort of I'm better than normal, but more in a like I want an extraordinary life. So how can if I expect extraordinary and then I get a negative version of extraordinary, why am I going to get upset about that? Because as much as I get that, I'm going to get the other version too.
That's the duality, right? You need to sometimes experience the complete opposite to be able to appreciate as well the other.
And a lot of very, very successful business people had extreme failures.
Yeah.
And it's that makes you actually resilient. And that's the whole game. That's the whole fun. And then going, I actually became successful, not because I inherited $10 million and I had a great start in life, but because I actually created this from nothing.
Yeah. It would also be nice though.
I mean, sometimes it would be kind of useful to have, but we're actually so supported, right? We're all supported. I mean, we're sitting here, we still have a very privileged life.
Absolutely.
Right. And that, that's another thing. Gratitude. We didn't mention gratitude, but gratitude is the juice of the universe, which is also this manifestation piece of when you are creating new realities and you've set your intention, there's this constant check-in to the moment to go, actually, this is really, really already very good right now.
Yeah.
So,
it's the doorway.
It's the doorway, right? So say more of this. Yes, but if you're not appreciating this now, how can you get more of it? Because you're not actually feeling how incredible this is right now. Right? This is this millionaire thing. Like, here, I mean, what a view.
And the birds.
And the birds.
And the weather.
It's perfect weather. It could have been so hot and sweaty, but this is perfect.
Thank you so much for this. And I think it's a beautiful last words, this playfulness. And actually, for example, just to give you an example, I'm being very, very strongly called now to focus on music and DJ and writing my book, because I've been putting that off. And because I have been kind of going backwards into thinking my business needs to be a certain way and I need to do this. But if I want to walk my talk, life is bringing me now, okay, so please sit down for a moment and ask yourself, where do you want to play in right now? Like, what brings you pleasure? And go there, because this is the next doorway. Maybe that brings you back again to the retreats or whatever. I feel that we're going to be organizing huge festivals very soon, and that like the tribe is going to come together and everyone is going to share the medicine, but with the base of playfulness, of reminding people of their innocence and bringing that frequency of innocence into everything. That is the doorway. So I'm going to listen as well. Thank you for reminding me for the book. Maybe I'm going to be part of that, because I know that I'm meant to be writing 2 or 3 books and one is written already, but I'm judging so much. Like I am reading it and I'm like, who's gonna want to read this? So I'm in this judging phase right now, big time. Writing it again, like on a digital, and I'm like, this version of me doesn't exist anymore. But somebody needs this, exactly those words. And this is where we need to get out of our own way and say, okay, I'm just going to publish it because that version of me existed and it's a mirror for somebody. that needs exactly this mirror, right? So are my last words. Do you have anything else that you would like to mention, or maybe an invite for a specific hive mind that is coming up?
Well, I mean, I don't know when exactly this airs, but and some people might watch it later. So I would just say check, just check my Instagram. It was funny because I changed my Instagram handle, as you know. And then I was looking at the podcast because I uploaded a new version, a new episode, and I was like, oh, so when you change your Instagram handle, it actually changes the URL. So now everywhere where I've got the old Instagram handle is just, it goes to this page cannot be found. But I feel that my name is not going to change because it is the name I was born with. And even though I kind of thought, it's a kind of I kind of wanted a more romantic sounding Italian-y surname, which is like my father, like my heritage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a short name and it's easy to remember. So Claudia Spahr is my name, with spelt Spahr, like pronounced like the spa, like the health
supermarket.
Like the supermarket in the UK, I know, but not everybody knows that supermarket. So most people know the health spa where you go for massages and wellness, but it has a H before the R. So there are very few Claudia Spas in the world, but somebody had grabbed it. So I've now the Claudia Spahr. Maybe at some point I'll add Claudia Spahr official. I don't know, but that's the best way to just see because on the top of the page you'll see what's coming up next.
I'm gonna link everything down here anyway.
Yeah, now that's the best thing, to just have a look there. And I've always got stuff with retreats. I've got the whole range from free to low cost to mid to the hive minds is definitely something I'm going to keep going every year. So there'll always be an entry point depending on what month of the year it is. The next one I've renamed it from Sales for Psychics to Oracle Millions.
Oracle Millions. I love that. I love that. And by the way, I recommend her free podcast as well. She speaks a lot about those things there. Has secret sessions coming up. So thank you so much, my love. Gracias, gracias.
So good.
It was a pleasure having you and the talking stick. And I hope to see you soon. And have a beautiful, magical day. And don't forget to play. Bye.